and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast from the Podium Game Day Edition. I'm your host, Brandon Schultz. Yes, it is game day, and today we are going to see the Seahawks wrap up their first divisional home and away slate of the season in Glendale, Arizona. Here's what Pete Carroll said about how the Cardinals might have changed since the last matchup, specifically talking about the return of wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins.
It's different in that they know that he's out there and they're using the heck out of him. He's been targeted a ton since he's been back. And he's come through and made terrific plays. The touchdown catch he made last week was amazing. And but they go to him in regular situations just to move the football as well, So he's a big part of it. And our focus is different because he's playing this week.
Defensive lineman Shelby Harris addressed a similar question.
Well, I would just say the big difference is, just they run things a lot differently now that they do have DeAndre Hopkins back. A lot of the, he has a lot of targets. The ball goes to him a lot, but then also they still do have the same zone, read option, zone read, and run game. It's just Kyler's trying to protect himself, not get hit as much, which every quarterback does. That runs the ball and their passing game has opened up a lot more with DeAndre Hopkins back. And then, with them adding Robbie Anderson and Rondale Moore and having just all that speed, they definitely they have the threats to definitely, open things up.
And because it is awesome, we have to go back to Halloween to hear about how Harris and his family dressed up.
So we were the Incredibles. We had the whole family outfit. I was Mr. Incredible. My wife was... What was it? Elastigirl. Yeah, that's what Elastigirl. Then we had Dash, Violet, Jack, and then we even had Edna. We had a whole Incredible family.
DK Metcalf also let us know who was the best dressed at his Halloween party.
One of the equipment managers, Dev. He was the Grim Reaper, so yeah, he was definitely best dressed.
Now let's get back to the Cardinals game and hear from defensive coordinator Clint Hurts and his comments on the Cardinals' offensive tempo.
Yeah, they're getting calls into although the tempo still vary. You got to be ready. The easiest thing to do is anticipate no huddle because that's the hardest thing to acclimate to. Anticipate it, and if the game slows down, then it makes it easier for us. But you go in with the mindset that it's going to be difficult. They're going to be on the ball quickly. You got to get the calls in fast to the guys and be aligned and ready to go play. But their tempos have varied more than what they've had, but they still go pretty fast, in my opinion, and the players feel that way too, which is obviously that's the most important part. How does it feel to them on the field as the game is going?
The coordinator on the other side of the ball, Shane Waldron, talked about what he took away from the last Cardinals game.
That first came out, really the ability to finish, especially when we got down in the red zone, didn't really do a great job of finishing some of those drives. Jason Myers did a great job finishing with field goals, but we know that our goal is to get points, to get touchdowns out of those drives, but still being smart. Our defense is playing excellent football right now, and so I think for us, as we're working to play these complementary games, how the games go, how they flow offensively, our most important job is taking care of the football, being smart with it, and then when we do get to these third downs, especially just, the Giants were a high-pressure team, just like Arizona is, doing a good job being smart and then taking those chances to be aggressive when the time calls.
Here were quarterback Geno Smith's takeaways from that game.
Yeah, I think, thinking about that game, they presented us with a bunch of different, fronts and different situational challenges. I can remember being down in the red zone, and obviously it was, right before the half. And so they were backed up, really pretty much playing the goal line. But we didn't do great in the red zone in that game. And so that's something we got to improve on. Really throughout the entire season, we haven't, been that great in the red zone. And so we just got to keep getting better in the red zone and really finishing drives with touchdowns, not settling for field goals, and also doing really good on third down.
And we got to hear from MVP talking about winning NFC Player of the Month.
Well, on behalf of myself, Shane Waldron, the offensive line, our offense, I'll gladly accept that. It just means we've been playing well as an offense, and we got to continue that. We got to keep it going.
With the accolades rolling in, is Geno thinking about his future contract situation?
I don't really live my life like that. I'm always focused on what I got to do today and tomorrow. Those things will come. Time will tell. Time will tell with all that. But for me, I just got to stay focused on what I'm doing in here, and that's working hard and leading this team and, going out there and competing to get wins.
Gino wasn't the only one to grab a monthly award, as cornerback Tareq Woolen was the NFC Defensive Rookie of the Month.
I feel like the job ain't done yet until is Rookie of the Year. That's like a mentality I always had since the beginning of the season. And now that it's a chance and it's an attainable goal, I just want to try to grab it. But at the same time, I just want to have fun with my teammates. And as long as we do that, as long as we win it, then everybody get noticed. And when you win it, that's when the awards come in. So as long as we keep doing our thing, I'm happy.
Woolen talked about his chance to go up against DeAndre Hopkins.
I've been a fan of his. I used to play receiver, so I was watching his highlights like it was nothing. When I lined up versus A.J. Green, I was telling my teammates, like in high school, I used to think A.J. was the dude. I had a highlight reel on my phone, so it'll be a pretty cool feeling just to go against him. And I just treat it like any other game. Just go out there, play, and have fun.
Here's what Tariq said about Hopkins' strongest skill.
His hands. That's what he most known for, just his hands. Really, it's like, shoot, anything around him, he'll catch it. So that's one thing that stood out to me for sure. And he's not the fastest guy, but he just deceives you with some of the stuff he does.
Let's hear now from our last monthly award winner in NFC Offensive Rookie of the Month, Ken Walker.
One of my goals, my main goals was just to make a positive impact on the team when I first got here. And I've been trying to stick to that since. So that's been my main goal. And just staying focused and grinding. I'm going to keep trying to achieve that goal.
Walker was happy to chat with Giants running back Saquon Barkley after last week's win.
Yeah, it means a lot. That's my favorite running back. I always watched his highlights when I was younger. I believe I was in high school. But he just told me, keep going. He tells me my future is bright. And I got a chance to get his jersey. So that's cool.
And if you haven't yet seen the photo going around social media, it's even Walker's profile picture, at least it was last time I checked. But there was a woman giving the double birds to Walker, and Ken addressed the famous photo from that Chargers game.
I thought it was funny. I saw it on Twitter. Like I didn't even know that was a thing at first until I saw it on Twitter at night. It was like late at night. And then I sent it to one of my friends, and he was like, "Bro, that picture's tough. Like you gotta post it." So I posted it, and it kind of went crazy. But I wasn't like pointing at her. I was just like putting up the peace signs. And then I guess she didn't take it well.
Getting back to head coach Pete Carroll, here's what he had to say about the trade deadline that happened this week.
We were in conversation on a lot of stuff. Yeah, we were talking about a lot of stuff. Nothing worked out, obviously, but we were going, just like always. It's just the way we do it. John was really active and burning the phones up and stuff just to know what was available and who was out there and all that kind of stuff. But nothing fit.
The Seahawks did attempt to trade cornerback Sidney Jones, but was eventually forced to cut him after they couldn't find a trade partner. Here's what Coach said about the remaining depth at cornerback.
Well, we do have depth, and Trey Brown will be practicing full go this week. I think we're only a week away from Isaiah coming back also, and so we have, and Artie's ready to go. Artie's really is primed and ready. So we have real good depth right now, and maybe better than we have had. And so that's why we are where we are right now.
The Seahawks also have depth along the offensive line, where Gabe Jackson and Phil Haynes will continue to trade off snaps at guard.
Yeah, I think it's good for us, and it helps Gabe stay healthy, and we'll take care of him today in practice and all that. But he's got an old knee that he's dealing with that we're managing really well, and that's part of it. We don't want to take him over the threshold where now he's got to sit for a bit, because of it any more than we already had, and so. I'm okay with that, and we're kind of getting comfortable with it. It is a point where it's not a comfortable thing to roll linemen like you're presenting, but we're getting over that.
Getting into the injury reports for both teams, wide receiver Marquise Goodwin will be out for the Seahawks, as will pass rusher Darrell Taylor. Wide receiver Penny Hart and defensive back Joey Blunt are questionable. On Arizona's side of the ball, cornerback Christian Matthew, guard Max Garcia, and center Rodney Hudson will all be out. Safety Budda Baker, tackle DJ Humphreys, defensive end Jonathan Ledbetter, running back James Conner, and linebacker Dennis Gardeck are all listed as questionable. That's going to do it for the show. Thanks to Wilson Kahn for helping to produce this episode. You can follow him out on Twitter at Wilson_Kahn, CONN. You can follow me out on Twitter at SeahawkersPod. Of course, I'm going to be back here later today recapping the Seahawks game against the Arizona Cardinals. So be sure you are subscribed on YouTube, youtube.com/SeahawkersPodcast. Join us live. That way you can be part of the chat as we go through and recap this game. Looking forward to talking about with you coming up later today. And so until then, go Hawks.